Good evening, guys. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Ye-
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Dheeraj. Hello, you are audible, Dheeraj.
Hello.
Yes, Dheeraj. Hello.
All right. So we'll do all these things in today's session. First, we'll start from calculation of the ESIC contribution, then how to submit the monthly, regular, and supplementary challan in ESIC, how to register an employee in the ESIC portal, and how to modify the basic details of the employees in ESIC portal, how to download and provide the ESIC Pehchan card by which the employee takes the medical consultation from the ESIC hospitals, then how to file the consolidated monthly challan if your company have more than one branch, more than one units. In that case, how to file a consolidated monthly challan from your main branch office for all those multiple branches. Then how to file the half yearly returns and annual returns, that we also know as the return of contributions. Then online challan double verification, in case if you lost your challan, if you lose your challan, in that case how to download the duplicate challan of that challan that you have lost. And then in the end, we learn how to register a subunit in case your company opens a new branch and that branch is open in an ESIC implemented area. In that case, you need to register that branch also in ESIC, right? So how to register that branch in ESIC, and for that registration we don't need to contact ESIC. You can do it by yourself from your own ESIC portal. Means the person who is managing the ESIC portal in your organization can register any of the subunits in the ESIC and can generate the subcodes for the ESIC by themselves only, right? So let's get started with today's session. And first, we'll start from the ESIC contribution calculation for various cases, right? So here again, I'm having a basic CTC structure in which we have just the cross components, basic HRA, telephone, special allowance, and sum of all is gross. So this is the fixed component that has been offered to the employee. And if we are talking about the monthly contribution, it means that we calculate the payable contribution on the basis of the pay days of the employee, right? So this is the fixed component we have, and then we have to calculate the payable components of each these components depending upon the pay days of the employee. And for that purpose, how do we do that? So for an example, if that this employee has worked for 30 days in that month of November, it means that how do we calculate the payable component? The fixed component multiplied by pay days divided by let's pick up the paydays from here itself, multiplied by paydays divided by 30. So in the month of November, total days is 30. So we need to take 30 in this below section. And here I don't want G to move. So let's put on the dollar sign and drop it down. So that's how we calculate the payable component. So it means on which amount we will calculate the ESIC contribution. Right now, we will calculate ESIC on this payable contribution component, not on the fixed one, right? Because the payable component may increase also and may decrease also from the fixed component. How come? So, for an example, if this employee works for only 25 days in the month, so in that situation, his payable component will decrease from his fixed component, right? And we always contribute the ESIC on the paid components of the employee, not on the fixed component. So it will decrease also and increase also. So, and what is the calculation process of ESIC? Here we will calculate the ESIC of employee and employer both. What is the rate of contribution of employer in ESIC?
3.25.
It's we'll put in the formula of logical test. So if the gross wages, so here I want to put in a formula that can check the eligibility of the employee and automatically can apply the contribution rate also. So if any employee is eligible for ESIC, we will contribute the contribution. If the person is not eligible for ESIC, we will not calculate the contribution for that person. And what is the eligibility criteria? Eligibility criteria is gross wages up to rupees 21,000 per month. So any employee who is drawing gross wages, here I'm talking about this salary, if the fixed gross wages of the employee is more than rupees 21,000, in that case the employee is not eligible for ESIC. Anybody who is drawing gross wages more than rupees 21,000 will not be eligible for ESIC. Hence our contribution for that employee will be zero, nil. And those employees who are drawing gross wages less than or equals to rupees 21,000, we'll calculate the contribution on their gross wages. Now, which gross wages, the fixed or the payable? We'll pick up the payable for the calculation of monthly contribution. Bracket close, multiplied by rate of contribution of employee in ESIC. And what is that rate of contribution? 0.75% of the payable gross, comma 0, bracket close, enter, and that's it. So that's how we calculate the ESIC contribution of employee. And for employer, simply copy the formula and paste it. Change the rate of contribution to 3.25%. 3.25 is the employer's rate of contribution. So whenever you are calculating ESIC in the payroll, in the pay sheet, so in that case you need to first check the eligibility from the fixed component of the employee. If the employee is eligible, then only we will calculate the contribution on the payable component. If the person is not eligible, we will get the contribution as zero, right? So this is the case, first case, when we have to calculate the ESIC on the payable component of the employee. Now take it as that employee has worked for entire 30 days in the month. So now if you see that payable component is equals to the fixed component, total salary. Now taking the case when the salary of employee may increase because of various cases. So first case we can take as an arrear that the employee, uh, we have, the company is paying some arrear of previous months to this employee. So in that case, take this case that the employee is being paid 3,000 rupees as an arrear in this particular month. And second case will take as an overtime. And considering that this employee has worked for 10 hours extra as an overtime in this previous month, for which we are paying overtime payment to this employee, right? So we need to calculate the overtime for this employee also. And what is the calculation criteria of overtime? Overtime we pay as double of the normal per hour wages, right? So it means for this 10 days we need to calculate overtime of this employee. How do we calculate that? So the fixed gross income of the employee divided by 26 to get 1 day salary, divided by 8 to get 1 hour salary, right? And then bracket close. That's how we calculate 1 hour salary multiplied by total hours he has worked enter. So this amount is coming around this, but this amount is for 10 hours wages. But in case of overtime, we pay twice of the normal rate. So it means that we need to multiply it by 2 again. So now this is the actual overtime amount of this employee for this 10 hours overtime. So it means that there is an extra payment of 3000 in the name of arrear, and the employee has also earned 1538 rupees as an overtime. So now his payable gross has increased because of these two components, 16,000 plus arrear plus overtime. Now his payable component has increased to 20,538. Now in this case, on which component we will calculate ESIC? Who would like to answer? Is there anyone who would like to answer me? Do we need to change the calculations now since his payable gross has increased from 16,000 to 20,538?
Yes, sir. Now,
Anyone who would
yes,
like to answer on which component we should calculate?
we need to calculate on 20,538, sir.
Yeah, Atul, I'm not able to hear you properly.
We'll
Hello?
calculate on payable gross, which is 20,538.
I
Yes.
think I'm not able to listen you guys. Just a moment, huh? Okay. Now I think I've changed the setting. Okay, now Atul, can you please try to speak? I just want to check if I can hear.
Yes,
Ha,
sir, we will deduct
now
on
you're audible.
20,538.
Yes, we will deduct on the payable gross. So if in case if the
Yes,
total
sir.
gross earning of the employee increases because of other earnings, we should always calculate on the exact payable gross of the employee. It means that we need to change this below formula. Now this time the calculation would be on this, that we'll first check the eligibility on the fixed component and then we'll calculate on the payable gross, which is C10. So we just need to make it C10, enter, and here also we will just change the cell C10, enter. So now the calculation will be done on the payable gross of the employee. Okay, so these are the cases that we need to always consider whenever we are calculating ESIC in the monthly payroll sheet. All right, I
Uh,
hope, yeah.
yeah, so if in case his payable gross will increase after overtime and arrears, so it
Hmm,
will increase by more than 21,000.
hmm,
So we
hmm.
will not calculate his ESI then.
We will. If you see the formula, so let's take it that case, huh? That his arrear is 6,000 rupees. Now, if you see, his payable gross became 23,538. Still, we are having calculation being calculated over here, right? Calculation is still being calculated. Why? Because we are checking the eligibility from where? We are checking the eligibility from the fixed component of the employee that has been offered in actual. And then we are calculating contribution on what? The payable gross salary of the employee. So in case because of other earning areas, if the employee's gross earning goes beyond 21,000, the employee will not considered as the excluded employee. He is still the member of employee. Till the time this fixed component is not going beyond 21,000 rupees, the employee will remain eligible under ESIC, and the contribution will go on his payable gross income. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope it is clear.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So these are the points that you always need to keep in mind whenever you are calculating ESIC in the monthly payroll, right? And now we'll move to the ESIC challan. Is there any question from this process, from the calculation process? Please feel free to ask. Then we'll move to the ESIC challan calculation.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. All right. So now let's move to ESIC challan. All right. So here, I hope this Excel is visible with everyone, this challan format.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, this is the ESIC challan format, that challan format that we have discussed in PF. And ESICs also have a separate challan format, right? In which they have this six columns only. First column is of IP number, in which we need to update the insurance number of the employees. IP number means the insured person's number. In PF, we used to update the UN number of the employees. Same, we need to update the IP number of the employees in this sheet first. And in the second column, we need to update their names, the registered name in ESIC. Then in the third column, we need to update the number of days for which the wages are payable during the month. Matlab, number of pay days we need to enter in this column for each employee. Then the next column is for the total monthly wages. Means on the basis of their pay days and other earning areas, what is the exact monthly earning of that employee? We need to enter that over here. Then in the column E, this is a very important column, because if any employee leaves your organization or any employee goes beyond rupees 21,000, means becomes out of coverage of the ESIC. If you want to update ESIC about that, the employee is excluded, employee have exited from ESIC. The ESIC will understand by the codes that we mention in this column only, right? For an example, if any employee leaves your company and you want to mark that employee exit from ESIC, you need to enter a code for the leaving of that employee. And if you miss to enter the code, the employee will still remain registered under ESIC. All right. So this is a very important column in which we need to update the codes for the various reasons. These are the codes, guys, right? And the codes we usually mention if the total number of days, working days, or the total wages both are zero, right? If the total monthly earning of the employee is nil, zero, in that case we need to specify a reason that why the salary of employee is zero, right? And we need to specify a reason by the code, whether the if employee is on leave, we need to update code 1. If you do not know what exactly is the reason why the employee is not coming on work, like like sometimes employee leaves without informing the employer, so employer wait for some time. So in that case, if you are not aware about the exact reason why the employee has left, you need to update the code 0. If the employee is on leave, you need to update code 1. If the employee has left the service, you need to update code 2. Employee is retired, code 3. Employees out of coverage, code 4. And we'll discuss all these code taking examples one by one so that you can understand clearly. So let's first try to enter the data. So and if any employee who is exited from your company because of any reason, because of the employee has resigned or the employee has retired, right? Or the employee is no more, right? Or the employee became out of coverage. In all those cases, we need to specify the last working days of that employee, right? Whether the employee has left your company or the employee became retired from your company. So you need to update the last working date of that employee in these two formats only. Any other format, it will not accept the dates in this sheet. So we'll now try to enter the data in this format, and from where we can fetch the data to enter in this sheet. We can fetch the data from the monthly payroll sheet, the sheet in which we have processed the payroll, because we have the entire information about the employee's earning part in that payroll sheet only. So I have a dummy payroll sheet. Let me open that here. All right, so this is the dummy payroll sheet we have. Let's change the month, considering that we are preparing the payroll for the November month. In November month, total days is 30. Let's change that to 30, and we want to replace all 31 by 30, right? And replace all. Okay, close. So now this is the payroll sheet of the November month, and we need to file the ESI. We need to generate the ESIC challan for the November month. So right now we are in the month of December. Always remember that you should file the PF and ESIC both returns before or maximum up to 15th of every month, right? So in case we are just considering that we are preparing challan for the November month, and we have the pay sheet of November month in front of us. And like I always say that always keep those following data in your pay sheet, like the IP number and UN number of the employees, so that whenever you are generating PF challan or the SIC challan, you can get the data from that sheet itself. Okay. So we have IP number here. We have the UN number. We don't want UN number right now. We are generating the ESIC challan. So we just require the IP number, insured person's number. If you see, there are some employees in front of them, the IP number is blank. What could be the reason why the IP numbers are blank?
Maybe
Be-
their gross salary is more than 21,000.
yes, because these employees are not the registered members of ESIC, because their gross wages is more than rupees 21,000 per month. Full gross I'm talking about, right?
Mm.
So that's why they are not eligible under ESIC. That's why these are blank. Okay. So we need following information. First is the IP number, then IP name, total number of pay days, total earning in the month, and the reason codes. So let's start getting data one by one. So first we need the IP number. So let's just filter this and remove those which are not eligible. So these blank IPs has been hidden, and now we have those employees list only. Those are eligible, right? So first thing we want is the IP numbers, right? Insured person numbers we want here. So simply copy this information from the sheet, come back to your IP sheet, come back to the first row, first cell, and paste it as numbers. Never paste it directly, or it will take the formats also. We just want numbers, we don't want formats. So always paste it as numbers, right? And the next thing, I think there's something, right? So first thing we had required was the IP number, insured person's number, that we copied and pasted from our payroll sheet. Second thing, we want the IP name. Same thing we'll do, just copy the name and paste it as values, right? So we have just copied and pasted the names also. Now we want the number of days for which the wages is payable during the month. Means number of which days? Means number of payable days. This is the total days in the month, and this is the payable days. So here this information we want in that sheet. Copy and right. So let's make it like this, 30, and this also 30. So these are the number of pay days for which the salary has been paid to this employee. Now, if you see here, this is the full fixed gross of the employee, and this is the payable gross of the employee. So which gross salary we need to take? We need to copy in this column, the fixed one or the payable one. We want the payable one, not the fixed one, which is actually paid to the employee, that we want. So just copy and paste the payable salary of the employee that is paid on the basis of these pay days of the employees. And then we need to enter the reason codes and date of exit in case if the salary is zero, right? What I'm saying is we need to mention the reason codes only if the wages is zero for any employee in the month, right? Considering, let's now take the examples. Considering that this employee, dummy employee 10, right? This dummy employee 10 has left the company on 5th of November, right? 5th of November, he has left the company, and that's why his total pay days is 5 days only, right? And he left in the month of, I'm just entering few remarks over here. This employee, dummy employee 5, he has left the company, right? Left on 5th November. So this employee has left on 5th of November. So do we need to enter? So this employee has left. So do we need to enter his reason code as two and the last working day since the employee has left the company?
So
Reason code, I think no, because 5 days is there.
Hmm.
But yes, the date of leaving we will mention last day.
No. If we mention the date of leaving and we do not mention the reason code, we
Mm-hmm.
will get the error if we upload this document. Right.
Okay.
So till the time, even though if you are paying 1 day salary to this employee,
Mm-hmm.
you would not be able to mark this employee exit in that particular month only.
Okay.
Right. Till the time, like, so now take this example that this employee has earlier we have took 5 days. So employee has worked for 5 days, and after that he left the company in the month of November. So when I will prepare the challan of November month, I would not be able to mark this employee exit in the same month, right? I need to mark this employee exit in the month of December. When I'll prepare the December month's challan, now consider this is the December month's challan. We are though currently in December only, but just consider that we are preparing December month's challan. Since this employee has already left in the month of November, so what would be his total working days in the month of December?
Zero.
Zero. What would be his earning?
Zero.
Zero. Now you can update the reason code 2 for this employee and you can update his date of leaving
Leaving.
as well. Not 12, the exact date of leaving you need to mention, huh? The exact date on which he left the company, right? So now when you upload this data on the ESIC portal, the ESIC will understand that this employee has left on the 5th of November and it will exit this employee from ESIC portal. From next month onwards, you would not be able to see this employee in your active employee list. So that's how we mark any employee exit from ESIC if the employee has left the work or the employee is retired or the employee is no more, right? So for
Mm.
any other reason for which the employee is being exited from ESIC, we need to exit the employee in the next month's challan when the employee has actually left. Okay. Yes, sir.
Dheeraj, I have a
Sure.
question. Suppose a person has worked for the entire
Hmm.
month of September
Hmm.
2020. सितंबर कितने महीने का मंथ होता है? 30
हाँ
हाँ
30 का
30.
30 का होता है
तो the person has worked till 30th
September.
September
Hmm.
and 30th September was his last date of working.
हाँ.
So his contribution will go in the month of October,
Hmm.
and when we will make the challan for the month of October,
Hmm.
we will mark him exit.
No.
अच्छा अक्टूबर में वी आर पेइंग द सब
Yes.
ठीक है
Till
तो
the time एक
एनीबडी
दिन का भी सैलरी जाएगा तो we cannot
ठीक
mark
है
them exit.
ठीक है तो दिस पर्सन वुड बी shown exited in the month of the चालान which we would be sending in the month of नवंबर.
November.
एक महीने के बीच में हमेशा
Gap
गैप
रहेगा.
या टाइम रहेगा तो
Exactly.
एनीबडी हु हैज लेफ्ट in the month of September, be
Hmm.
it on the last date also,
Hmm.
October month challan will carry his contribution amount,
हाँ.
and in the month of November, we will say
Mark
that
him exit.
this person is left in September.
Yes.
Okay, okay. ठीक है, this is what I wanted to know.
Okay, sir. All right, guys. So this is a very important point that you all need to consider because whenever we join any company, and this is the first thing that we face, whenever any employee leaves any organization, and you try to mark that employee exit in the same month, and it gives you error, and you are not very sure that why you are getting error. So this is the only reason that the earning of any employee should be zero. Only after that you can mark that employee exit. If the employee's monthly wages is even for 1 day, right? Even for 1 day, if the employee is earning any amount, you would not be able to mark that employee exit from ESIC till the time the wages is not zero. You cannot exit them from ESIC for all other cases. If the employee has resigned, or the employee is retired, or the employee is died, right? Or the employee is out of coverage, means the employee's fixed salary has become more than rupees 21,000. He got an increment and he is now out of coverage. In that case, also till the time the total monthly wages is not zero, you'll not be able to mark them exit. So whenever the employee actually left the organization, you need to wait for a month and then you need to mark that employee exit, when in that particular month the earning of the employee will be zero. Okay, any questions from this point? Please let me know, guys. Okay. Now let's move to other cases. So let's first discuss all these cases, these codes. First case is without reason. You need to mention zero. Now take a case. Now take a case that this dummy employee three, this employee is not coming. Now I'm just making changes in the sheet itself. His wages is also zero, and work days is also zero. And because since that employee has not worked, like he did not come to office for even a single day in that month, right, in the month of November, and that's why his total working days is also zero and total monthly wages is also zero. But you are not aware that why the employee is not coming. The employee has not even put on his paper, he is not even resigned, right? And you are not aware of the exact reason why the employee is not coming to office. So you usually the employer does not mark them exit directly, right? Till the time the employee does not resign, they wait for some time. So in that case, what you'll do, your total this employee's total work days will be zero and earning also will be zero, since the employee has not come for even a single day in the company. So his entire earning is also zero in that month. But you are not aware of the reason, and you do not want to mark this employee exit also, because you are not sure whether the employee has left your company. So in that case, you need to enter the reason code zero, and you do not need to enter the date of exit over here for this employee, because you are not aware whether the employee has left your company or he is still active. Okay, so this is the first case when you are not aware of the reason why the employee is not coming to your company. Then the second reason, on leave. For the entire month, this employee was on leave, right? He has applied for a leave, and that's why he has not come to office even a single day, and his earning is also zero. But he's on leave. We are aware that he's on leave, and that's why his wages is zero. In that case, we'll update the reason code 1, right? And we do not need to enter the date of exit of this employee, because the employee is still working, he's just on leave, right? This is the second code. Guys, stop me at any point if you want any clarification. Okay.
Yes.
Third, employee has left the service, that we have already discussed. Any employee who left the service, you need to wait for a month, then update the pay days and earning also, both as zero, and enter the reason code as 2 and enter the exact date of exit of that employee, right? And that employee will be exited from ESIC portal. Employee is retired. Matlab, employee has reached the age of superannuation, that is of 58 years, and that's why he got retired, and that's why his total working days is also zero and earning is also zero in the next month. And that's why we need to enter reason code 3 and the date of exit of that employee, the date of retirement we need to enter for that employee. In this column, you need to enter the date of retirement of that employee, and that employee will be exited from the ESIC portal. Now this seventh, this case, out of coverage, the next case, this is a very important case. Any employee whose monthly fixed gross salary goes beyond rupees 21,000, they are considered as out of coverage. Because what is the eligibility criteria of ESIC? Anybody who's drawing fixed gross up to rupees 21,000 per month, they are eligible for ESIC. The day they start earning fixed gross salary more than rupees 21,000, they are considered as out of coverage from ESIC, and we need to mark exit these employees from ESIC, since they are not eligible, right? But read this note over here. Reason code that we enter is reason code 4, and the note written is, please provide the last working day. IP will not appear from next contribution period. This option is valid only if the wage period is April and October. In case of any other month, then IP will continue to appear on the list. Means any employee whose fixed salary goes beyond rupees 21,000, right? Let's take some examples over here. So let's come back to this contribution period and the benefit period, right? So there are two contribution periods and two benefit period. And for an example, we are considering that this employee, um, let's take a case. This employee, dummy employee 8, he became out of coverage. He became out of coverage in the month of May. Let's take the example that he became out of coverage in the month of May. Out of coverage in May, right? So this dummy employee became out of coverage in the month of May, means his fixed salary became more than rupees 21,000. What is this employee name? Dummy employee 8. Let's take this employee. He is the dummy employee 8, right here. And what is the salary of this employee? His fixed salary, full gross, is 16,950. Considering that in month of May he got an increment of 8,000, and his full gross became more than rupees 21,000 rupees, right? And here we need to make few changes. This will be multiplied by 3.25%, and this will be 0.75%. All right. So because of increment, this employee's salary goes beyond rupees 21,000. Means if the fixed salary goes beyond rupees 21,000, the employee is considered out of coverage. But if you notice here, because of our previous formula, formula, when it was checking the eligibility from his fixed gross and on the basis of the eligibility, it was calculating the contribution. Since the employee's fixed salary became more than rupees 21,000, the calculation became zero. But I manually updated it to the calculation of that fixed gross salary multiplied by 3.25%. What is the reason? Since the employee's fixed salary became more than rupees 21,000, it should be considered as exited from ESIC, and that's why the contribution should be zero as well, right? But I manually done the calculation of the rate of contribution on the payable gross of the employee. And what is the reason? Because this employee has left in the month of May. It means the employee is in a contribution period of April to September. So between April to September, on any month, if the employee leaves, they need to first complete the cycle, complete the contribution period. And once they complete the contribution period, in the end of that contribution period, only that employee can be exited from ESIC. You getting my point? So, uh, so why we are taking month of May? Let's take with this sheet only. So considering that this employee has left in the month of November only. So let's make it November. He left in the month of November, and here 1st October to March, this is the second contribution period. If the employee leaves in the month of November, that employee needs to contribute till the month of March on his increased wages, right? They need to contribute on their increased wages till the completion of that contribution period. Once they complete the contribution period, only after that that employee can be exited from ESIC. All right. So the same thing will be applied if the employee leaves in the month of November, will keep on contributing on their increased payable gross salary, right? If you see here, I have manually done this calculation on the increased payable gross of the employee, and will keep on contributing till the month of March, right? Since this is the November month payroll, so we need to contribute for this employee, even though his fixed salary is more than rupees 21,000. We need to contribute till the completion of the contribution period. And there are only 2 months in which it will accept the exit in case of out of coverage. What are those 2 months? April and October. Why April and October? For this contribution period, the period completes in the month of March. So it means in the next month, that in the month of April, the employee can be exited from ESIC. For this month, the employee completes the contribution period in the month of September. Means in the month of October, the employee can be marked exit from ESIC. So this is the case of out of coverage when the employee's fixed gross salary becomes more than rupees 21,000. You cannot immediately mark them exit from ESIC. You need to keep on contributing till the completion of the contribution period. And once you have completed the contribution till the completion of contribution period, you can mark that employee exit in the very next month, right? So this is the criteria in the case of out of coverage, and you need to keep on contributing on the increased wages of the employee. And for this employee, the increased wages was 24950. Huh? And what is the reason code of ESIC out of coverage? Code is 4. And if we are currently contributing, this is the reason code 4, and the date of exit, considering that this employee has became out of coverage on 1st of November 2020. This is the out of coverage, and this is the date of exit as well for this employee, right? And this is the challan we are preparing for the month of which? November, right? So if I upload this challan with this data, will I get any error? Yes, I will get error, because if you see this pointer over here, this option is valid only if the wage period is April or October. Means for the contribution period of this, in which we are currently marking this employee exit, this is the pay month of November, right? And the employee can be exited only after the employee have completed the contribution period. So the contribution will period will get completed in month of March, and only in the month of April this employee can be exited. And in that month only, this option will be accepted. Till that time, you don't need to enter the reason code and the date of exit for that employee who has become out of coverage because of increment, right? So these are the cases of out of coverage. Any employee whose salary becomes more than rupees 21,000 because of increment. Any question on this, please ask, guys. Reason code for out of coverage.
So these reason code we will by default find in the ESI while we are filling the ESI challan, right?
So
Okay.
this is the file downloaded from ESIC portal itself, and
Okay.
every file have a instruction and region code sheet. From there you can just check out these codes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question, guys? I hope this reason code 4 is clear with you guys, because a lot of people get confused at this point.
It's clear.
It's clear. All
Yeah.
right. All right. So if now considering that this is the month of April, means the employee has completed the cycle. In the month of April, you can update his reason code and his date of leaving as well, right? And now if you upload the challan in the month of April, the employee will be exited from ESIC. That's how we need to enter the reason code for that employee. Now taking the other codes, this we have done. Expired, in that case you need to enter the reason code 5. See, by these codes only, the ESIC will understand whether the employee is on leave on, or the employee left the service or retired or is out of coverage or expired, by these codes only, right? So always make sure that you are entering a correct code. And that's why ESIC provide this instruction and reason code with the challan file itself, the sample challan file itself. So for, if the employee is no more, in that case you need to update the reason code 5 in the next month when the employee actually died, and you need to update his last working day in your company. Then non-implemented area, this is also a very important thing. In case any of your existing employee who was working uh, in your company where he was registered under ESIC. Now taking this example, the employee was registered in ESIC. Now your company has opened a new branch in some other region, and that branch is in a non ESIC implemented area, right? Means the ESIC is not applicable in that branch because there is no ESIC SRO or RO, sub regional office or the regional office. In that case, means if the branch itself is not registered under ESIC, means any of the employee can also not remain under ESIC. So if the employee gets transferred to a branch which is not registered in ESIC, you need to mark that employee exit from your current location, right? Considering the employee was currently working in the head office, he got transferred to a branch which is not registered in ESIC, and when the employee joins that new branch, you need to mark that exit, that employee exit from your head office ESIC registration, right? Is this point clear, guys? What I'm trying to say? When,
Uh,
huh?
it means like if somebody has got transferred from another city where the ESI is not applicable,
Hmm.
like there is no offices for ASI,
Huh.
so that he will not include in the ASI.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
If an
But with the
employee,
same organization.
yes, with the same organization, with
Okay.
the same organization, like for every branch, we need to take a new registration for ESIC, that we
Okay.
say the subunit registration. But for PF, only one registration is enough. But for ESIC, we need to take separate registration for each branch.
Okay.
Separate registration that I will show in the end of this session only, that how do we register the branches. And any of the branch, if is in an area where the ESIC is not implemented, in that case you will not be able to register the branch in ESIC, right? That
Okay.
ESIC will be considered as out of coverage,
Okay.
right? That branch will be considered as out of coverage. And that's why if the employee also gets transferred to that branch that is not registered in ESIC, the employee cannot remain in ESIC with the previous company, right? Because
Okay.
ESIC is supposed to get the medical treatments and all the medical facilities in that specific location. If there is no ESIC branch, no dispensary, no hospital, then how the employee is going to take advantage of the ESIC? That's why we need to mark that employee exit from ESIC, and becomes the employer's responsibility to provide that employee a separate medical insurance, right? Which is giving same kind of benefits as in ESIC if that employee gets transferred to a non-implemented area. All right.
Okay.
So, if it is the case that the employee has transferred to a branch which is not registered in ESIC, you need to mark that employee exit from ESIC by mentioning the reason code 6, and update the date of exit, last working day, the day when the employee got transferred to that new location, new branch. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the 10th thing is the compliance by immediate employer. Now, considering that if your company is a consultant or your company is a contractor, right, and for few employees, the compliance is being managed by ESIC, or all the compliance is being managed by the principal employer itself, right? If my company is a contractor, and all the employees which are working on my role, they are working at the client location, so that client itself is taking care of their compliances part, pf, esic, etc. If it is the case where the compliances is being taken care by the immediate employer, the principal employer, in that case we'll mention the reason code 7 for that specific employee, and leave the last working day as blank, because the compliance is being managed by other employer but the employee is still working on your role, right? Another case is the suspension of work. If the employee is suspended for some time, in that case, you need to mention the reason code 8 and leave the last working day as blank, because suspension is not termination or separation from the company. Then the next case we have is the strike and the lockout. In case if there is some strike or lockout or closure is being going on in your organization, and because of that, if the employees are not able to come to office for the entire month, and their salary and wages is also calculated as 0, in that case you need to leave the last working day as blank. Reason code you need to mention is 9. Okay. Then we have the next case as the retrenchment, where some of the department has been laid off in the same location. Your department has been closed, and because of that the employee became jobless. So you need to mention the reason code 10 and mention the last working day for that employee, because that employee has been laid off. Then there is no work. If the employer have no work for the entire year, you need to mention the reason code as 11 and leave the last working day as blank for the employee, since the employee is still working in the company but the employer does not have work for them, does not belong to this employer. If there is any case where some IP has been mapped mistakenly, and in that case, you need to mention the reason code as 12 and leave the last working day blank for that employee. Duplicate IP. So, like UN, IP number is also a unique number, but you cannot control the duplicacy of IP, right? For the same person, you can generate n number of IP numbers, right? But in UN, it is not the case, since the UN server is linked with the other server. So duplication is not possible on UN. But for IP, you can generate n number of insurance numbers for the employees. But the day you generate a new UN number for any new employee, all the benefits related linked with the previous UN number gets void. Those all benefits becomes void, like we discussed in the actual session of the ESIC, that for each benefit there is some eligibility criteria, that the employee has worked for 78 days or 2 years or 1 year or 3 years. So even though employee has, employee is eligible for all the benefits with his previous IP number, and by mistake, if you generate a new IP number for that employee, you have not done the inquiry and you have generated the new IP number for that person. So all the benefits which were associated with his previous IP number, that all becomes void. So always be very cautious whenever you are registering an employee in ESIC, that you don't generate a duplicate IP. So even if it happens that you have generated a new IP for the existing ESIC member, and you realized that this is a duplicate IP, in that case, and you have not done a contribution and any contribution yet for that employee, so till the time you have the option that that duplicate IP can be deleted for that specific employee and the previous IP can be used. So in that case, what you can do is you just take this case, this dummy employee 12. Let's take this case itself. So for this dummy employee 12, we have two IP numbers, uh, this one, and this is the new. This is the duplicate IP. This is the duplicate IP, and this was his earlier IP, which was issued to him. And we want to make the contribution in this IP. We want to continue with this IP only, but we want to delete or remove this IP for this employee. So for that purpose, what you need to do is, the IP that you want to continue, enter the number of days and the wages earned, the actual number of days and wages earned for this employee. You need to enter that. And the IP number that you want to discontinue, you just enter the total number of days as zero and the wages paid as zero. And what reason code you need to mention? 13. This is the reason code you need to mention, 13, and leave the last working day as blank. Okay. So just mention the reason code as 13. You don't need to mark the date of exit for this employee. You just need to inform ESIC that this is a duplicate IP, right? So you just need to leave this reason code for that duplicate IP, and the ESIC will map that this IP number is a duplicate IP for this employee, and hence this IP number will be discontinued for this employee, and this will be taken forward. Right, this is the case of duplicacy, in case where you generate multiple IPs for the same employee. Right, so these are the reason codes that we need to consider whenever we generate the ESIC challan. And always make sure that you refer all the reason codes correctly. By mistake, you don't do any errors, otherwise uh, all the benefits of employee becomes void. Okay, any question till now, please ask, and then we'll move to the next process of preparing this challan for the upload. Any question?
Sir,
Yeah.
could you please explain the point number 7 once again?
Point
Because
number 7.
7. Oh, yeah.
Out of coverage.
Point number 7, sir. It's
Acha,
sorry, code
compliance
number
by the
7.
immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah, compliance by the immediate employer. See, for many cases, what happens? This is mainly for the contractors, those companies which are contractors, and they hire employees and they send those employees to work in some other organizations. Those are called the principal employees, where the employee actually works, but they are on the payroll of the contractor. Right? In that case, for any specific employee, if the compliance is being managed by employer, the principal employer itself, the company where the employee is actually working, so that principal employer is contributing the PF and ESI everything for that employee. So in that case, if the actual company, the contractor company, which is filing this challan, that the contractor company need to mention this reason code 7, that the compliance is being managed by the immediate employer, by the principal employer, and not by us for this specific
Okay.
employee, right? So considering
Okay.
that this employee, the all the compliance is being managed by the principal employer. So even though you mention the number of days and the salary for the employee, you just need to leave the reason code, that is
Okay.
7, right? You just need to leave the reason code for that employee, that is 7, and the ESIC will understand the compliance for this employee is being managed by the principal employer, right? So
So,
even
sir,
the
in
in
that,
the ESIC portal we have, please ask.
sorry, sir, interrupt you, sir. In that case, the employer also need to generate the challan, sir,
In that case,
because
that principal employer need to map that employee. अभी मैं
okay,
बता दूं, देखो what happens Atul, if
yeah,
I want, like, I'm the principal employer, right? And this dummy employee 5, he is
yeah,
on the roles of a contractor, but I want to
okay,
manage the compliances for this employee, right, from my company, right? Means the
okay,
principal employer wants to manage the compliances for this employee. So in ESIC we have an option to map the contractors, right? In the ESIC portal itself we have an option to map the contractors, and from that process also you
okay,
can select that for which employee you want to manage compliance by your own, by your company itself, for the contractors. Okay,
okay,
I hope it is clear.
okay, sir. Yes, sir.
It is nothing, it is only the cases where the companies works with the contractors and where the company wants to ensure the compliance by themselves only. They don't want to depend on the contractor for the compliances. In that cases it happens. Okay.
Okay, noted, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Please let me know.
No question.
All right. Now let's move to the next process, that we need to prepare this challan to upload on the ESIC portal, right? And for that, we'll just remove all those extra areas that we have created. Just remove that also. And we need to remove all those formattings. We don't require the formattings in the sheet. Okay. So once you have entered all the information that you wanted to update in your ESIC challan sheet, the next process is to prepare the sheet for the upload, because right now if I want to upload this sheet in this way only to ESIC portal, I will get the error that the data is not furnished correctly. So there are 2 3 things that we need to keep in mind to prepare the ESIC challan sheet. If you notice here, in some columns there is some error, right? If you see these error messages, the number is stored as text. Here also the number is stored as text, the number of stored as text. So in any cell of this sheet, if you enter a text manually, you will get this error as the number is stored as text. And till the time you are not, if you are not getting any error for any numbers, means your sheet is not ready for upload. All these cells where there is a number, these cells should show this error that the number is stored as text. If there is even a single cell where there is no error, if you try to upload this sheet, you will get the error from ESIC. So there are 2 3 ways to uh, to convert all these cells in the error. Once we copy and paste data from other sheets, usually we don't get this error till the time we are not entering the data manually in it, right? So for that purpose, what we'll do, there are two, three things. If you have lesser number of employees, you can do what? You can go to each cell, press F2, enter, F2, enter, F2, enter. When there are lesser number of employees in your organization, in that case, this F2 enter is helpful. You can do it manually, right? But a case where there are 200 or 300 employees, would this F2 process help? No, it will not, because if you try to do it manually F2 for each cell, it will take the entire day to do. So to avoid that thing, what we'll do, we'll take this. There is another way to do. Select the entire cell or select the data that you wanted to convert. First, let's just make it general and press here. So right now, these numbers are not stored in text, right? These are just pasted as general data. So all that cell that you want to store as text, just select that entire data, go in the options of data in the header, right? In data, again, if you go in data, then in data, you have an option of text to column, right here, text to column. Select that text to column. Okay. And here, just remember that PF challan creation. There we used to save our file in comma CSV delimited, right? But here in this sheet itself, we are creating this as comma CSV delimited. So here we'll select again as delimited, then click on next. Here we'll select comma, right? Then select next and then text and finish. Done. If you see, all that data which was there have got converted, is stored as text. So this is the n number of number data in your in this sheet, and you can store that as text in these four simple steps. You just need to select that data, go in header section, go in data, and in data again you need to go in text to columns, select delimited, click next, select comma, click next, and then select text and click finish. That's it. All that information will be stored as text, right? If any number which is there in this sheet, if that number is not stored as text and you try to upload that information on the ESIC portal, you will receive an error. So always be aware that all that information which is there in numbers should be stored as text. And for the dates and for the alphabets, we don't require to store that information as text. All right. This is required for the column A, column C, D, and E. All these four columns should be mandatorily, all that information in this column should be mandatorily stored as text. Otherwise, you will get the error when you try to upload that information on ESIC, right? Once you are done with this, now is this file ready to upload on ESIC? Is there anything else that we need to do? No, there is nothing else that we need to do in this file. Now this file is completely ready to upload on ESIC portal. Preparing the ESIC challan is quite easier than the PF challan. You just need to take care of two, three things, and then the ESIC, this PF challan, ESIC challan will be generated easily. So now this file is ready to upload on ESIC portal. The next process is to upload this file on ESIC portal. And for that, we need to go to ESIC portal, esic.in. So ESIC keeps on, doing some changes in their website, and nowadays the entire user interface of this ESIC have got changed. Earlier there was a different homepage for ESIC. Now this has made the homepage like this, where you need to search for the employer login. This is the employer login. Click on that. And this is the login page where you need to enter the captcha. Right? And then click on login. And once you try to log into your ESIC portal, you'll get 4 or 5 prompts from ESIC, like this one, which is prompting you to make sure that you are not generating the duplicate IP numbers. If you see here, IP number once given is valid for the lifetime of the employee. He need not to register himself again, even if he changes location or employment. It is a unique number. Means IP number is also unique in nature, but in IP number, duplicacy is possible. So you need to be sure that the employee, if the employee is earlier registered in ESIC, you are taking the IP number from the IP. And how do you do that? You ask the employee to fill form 1 of ESIC, that is the declaration form of ESIC. In that, the ESIC mention all the information related to his previous ESIC registration, right? So this is the first prompt. Then second prompt we get is the employee must be registered within 10 days of the date of appointment. Now system allows registration beyond 10 days, also subject to fulfillment of the term and conditions. Means earlier we used to register employee on any date we wanted, but nowadays the ESIC have restricted the registration at maximum 10 days from the date of joining. If it becomes 11th day from the date of joining onwards, you would be able to register that employee, but not with his exact date of joining, but with his date of registration. That date of registration, when you are registering the employee in ESIC, would be considered as the date of joining of the employee till the time the verification is not done from the ESIC. ESIC do the inspection for that employee, why this registration got delayed. They do the inspection, they check the documents for that specific employee, and if they get satisfied, they update the actual date of joining. If they are not satisfied with the inspection, they keep on the date of joining as a date of registration for that employee. The next thing we have, next prompt is the contribution against employee must be deposited within due date. You shall not be able to deposit contribution online after 42 days from the end of contribution period. So now this is again a very important thing that you need to keep in mind. So these are two contribution period, right? And for the month of April to September, many employer face any problem for the funds or budgets for the contribution in PF and ESI nowadays, right? So in that case, they prefer to contribute after the months, and after few months, whenever they got money, they used to contribute. But in case, like considering that for the month of April, you would be able to submit the challan till the month of September, right? Even till the month of October also you would be able to submit the challan. But once you have completed this contribution period plus 40 days, after that you would not be able to generate the ESIC, generate or submit the ESIC challan for these specific month. For the month of April to September, you would not be able to generate or upload the challan on ESIC portal online. If you want to do that, you need to visit your ESIC branch. You need to ask for the offline challan submission process, right? So you need to make sure that you are contributing ESIC challan within the contribution period only, or maximum uh, delay of 42 days from the completion of the contribution period. But after 40 days from the completion of contribution period, you would not be able to submit the challan for any month of that contribution period. So always make sure that you are submitting the challan within the contribution period, or maximum up to 42 days delays from the completion of the contribution period. All right, and there is one more prompt. Attention, dear employees, with effect from this. So now this is the recent change that has been done in the month of July, I believe. From July month, it is effective that at the time of registration of an employee, updating their mobile number and bank details is mandatory. Without updating the mobile number and the bank account details of the employee, you would not be able to register the employee on ESIC. So always make sure that you have the correct mobile number and the bank account details of the employee at the time of registration. We'll see that process, that where we need to update the mobile number and where we need to update the bank account details of the employee. Okay, then click on I agree. And now this is the home page where we land up after all these prompts that the ESIC updates on the recent changes in ESIC. And if you see this section is related to the monthly challan contribution, right? This section is for the employee, for employee registration, to issue the medical card to the employee, right? Anything which is related to employee, if you want to do some edits in the employee detail, you'll be able to do from this section. And this section is for the employer, right? If you file the accident report, you'd be able to do this from this section. If you want to register a new branch, you'd be able to do it from this section. If you want to modify the details of existing branch, you would be able to do from this option, right? And all those things which the employer needs to do, they would be able to do from this section. This is for employer, this is for employee, and this is related to the monthly ESIC contribution. So once you have prepared your ESIC challan, once you have prepared your ESIC challan, the next step is to log into your ESIC portal, and in the monthly contribution, you'll get the first option of file monthly contribution. Now, this is the option that we are going to pick because we want to file the monthly contribution, monthly return we want to file. Click on file monthly contribution. You will be moved to a new window, and this is the window that where you will land up. So what you have to do next is you need to first select the month for which you want to contribute the ESIC contribution. So I want we have recently created the challan for the November month and year 2020. Now there are two types of challan, just like the PF, the regular challan and the arrear challan. Regular, the monthly challan; arrear, if we miss to pay any other payments and we want to contribute on that excess payment also, then in that case we file the supplementary contribution. So first we'll move with the regular contribution, then we'll move to the supplementary contribution. You have to just select the month, select the type of contribution, that is monthly contribution, and the next thing is upload Excel. So when you prepare this file, just save this file, come to this option, click on upload Excel. And since I have already uploaded my file for the month of November, because maximum up to 15th we have to do it, right? Since I have already uploaded my regular challan, I would not be able to upload the challan again. Now it's saying me to upload a supplementary challan for that specific month. Once you have uploaded the regular monthly contribution, the next you want to update any information, you will have to file the supplementary contribution, right? So the next process, how to upload the file and do the payment, will move to the help file, and from there we will understand that what is the next process. So shared consolidated monthly challan. Okay, so this is the ESIC help file for monthly challan. So here again, what it is saying, first go to file monthly contributions, and then here you need to select the month for which you want to contribute, select the type of contribution, and click on upload Excel, right? You need to click on upload Excel. If you have already prepared your Excel file, you need to, then you will be moved to this window. If you click on upload Excel, where you need to browse and link your Excel file which you want to upload, right? Just a moment, this one is old one. Okay. So browse, link the file which you want to upload, and click on submit. Once you click on submit, it will do all the calculations automatically. So these are some old formats. Nowadays, it is not required for the regular challan. Once you click on submit, by linking that Excel file, you will be moved to this window where it will show the payment history, right? It will show you that what is the total IP contribution, total employer contribution, and the total contribution of employer and employee. Total central government that is paying, like for those cases which are handicapped, in that cases central government make the payment, or those cases who are drawing daily wages less than rupees 176 276 rupees per month, for those cases, the central government makes a payment for those employees. So if it is the case, it will reflect over here. Otherwise, we don't need that. Then it will show the total wages on which this contribution is calculated. And then if you are sure that data is okay, all this calculation which is showing over here is matching with your calculation in your payroll sheet, you can just click on data verified and submit. You don't need to check this, click here, digital signature, but nowadays it is not available. This is an old format. You'll only get this information of data verified. You just need to select this and click on submit. Once you click on submit, you just need to click on submit. Then again, you will be moved to the another window. So this is an outdated version it is showing. So you just need to do what you need to click on submit, and your challan will get submitted to ESIC. It is just submitted and it is not generated yet. The challan is not generated yet. So next thing what you have to do is to generate the challan, you need to go on to this window. Once you have uploaded your ESIC file here, the next thing you have to do is you need to go at this window at generate challan, right? Click on this, select the month for which you want to generate the challan. Then once you click on that, you click on view, and it will show you a list for which you have to make the payment. Since we have already paid challans till the month of November, we don't need to generate any challan. Otherwise, if you have not made the payment yet, in that case, you need to select the month for which you want to generate the challan, where the amount paid would be zero and due amount will be visible. Once you select that, and you need to enter the amount manually again. So what amount which is mentioned over here, the due amount, you need to enter that due amount again over here as 4336, and then click on submit. Once you click on submit, it generates the challan now, right? Once you select this, enter the due amount manually, and then you need to click on submit. Once you click on submit, now it generates the challan, and you will be moved to a window like this. Once you select the month where for which you want to make the payment, right, and click on submit, you would be moved to this window where it will reflect the challan number, right? It reflects the challan number here only. Till the time you have not submitted, generated and paid this challan successfully, you would not be able to fetch this challan number from anywhere else. It will show you the challan number here only. So always make sure that either you have noted down this challan number or you have taken a screenshot of this page. In case if the payment process gets delayed, and connection becomes disable, in that case you would be able to fetch that challan again with the use of this challan number. All right, so always make sure to make a note of this or take a screenshot of the challan number, and then click on continue. Once you click on continue, you will be redirected to the payment page, from where you need to select your net banking information bank. uh, Select the bank, enter the net banking information, and make the payment. Right, once you make the payment, you'll be moved to this window. Take a screenshot of this, and after 5 seconds of this window, you will be moved to this new window where it will show completed successfully. It will show the challan numbers also here. This is the challan number. It will show the challan number, payment amount, payment date, etc. All the information related to the challan payment. And this is the ESIC challan. This page, this screen is the ESIC challan that you need to take print of and keep it in your HR department for the inspection and the compliance purposes, right? And in case once you are done with this process, it means that you have submitted the ESIC challan successfully. You have paid and submitted the ESIC challan successfully. But in case if you forgot to make a note of this challan number, or to take a screenshot of this page, and the connection in between got disabled and you were not able to move further for the payment process, right? In that case, you have lost this challan number as well, and you would not be able to fetch that challan number again from the CSIC login. Then how will you make the payment of this challan in that case? So for that purpose, ESIC has given another option. Uh, for that, what you have to do is you need to log out from ESIC from here. You click on this thing, log out from here, And this is the home page of ESIC. In this home page, you'll find a quick links, right? Below this login information and all, you'll find the quick links where the first option is of pay e-challan. Now, this is the option from where we can make the payment of those missed challans, right? Where you don't have the challan number, but there is a challan that you have missed to pay in between. So you just click on this option, pay e-challan, and this window will pop up where you need to enter your ESIC, employer's ESIC number, enter the CAPTCHA, click search, and it will move to a new window where that unpaid challan will get reflected. You just need to click on that unpaid challan number, and it will again move you to this section again, where it will move you to the payment page. You need to make the payment, take the screenshot, and take a printout of this page and save this as a ESIC challan for the inspection purpose. Any question, any queries till now? Please let me know, guys.
Yes, I have a query.
Please ask.
So this challan which you have shown by filling the challan, so this challan is filling for both employer or employee, both the contributions we are
Yes,
filling.
yes,
Okay,
yes. So if
okay,
you notice here, this is the file that we have maintained.
right,
This is the ESIC challan that we have created.
right, right.
If you notice here, we don't have any column for the employer contribution or the employee contribution.
Okay, so we
Right.
calculated both the amount.
So we just need to mention the number of days of the employee and the wages of the employee. On the basis of this information, ESIC automatically calculates the contribution of employer and employee both in this
Okay.
section. Here it will do the calculation. Once you click on data verified and submit, it will do the calculations automatically on the basis of number of pay days and the salary of the employee, and it will reflect the employee IP matlab employees contribution. It will reflect the employer's contribution and the sum of employer and employees contribution and the total wages on which this contribution is calculated. Okay.
Okay.
So this process, this calculation is done by ESIC portal itself. You don't have to do this manually.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys? Please let me know for ESIC challan. Otherwise, we'll move to the next processes.
Yeah, it's clear for now.
Okay. You need to practice this challan thing.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Then only we'll get to know where, like, we
Exactly.
are lacking. Yeah.
Exactly. So this was the process of the regular challan, where the regular challan for each month where you are not you have not missed the payment of any employee. But in case once you have paid this regular challan by uploading the Excel file, and now you realized for any employee you missed to pay him, you have paid him lesser salary in the previous sheet, right? And then you made the excess payment to that employee. For an example, if you have paid 5,000 less to that employee, now you have made that payment again, right? So that for that excess 5,000 again, you need to contribute ESIC, right? Whatever payment you are making to your employee, you need to contribute ESIC if that employee is eligible for ESIC. DC. So for the arrear payments also, you have made an arrear payment to employee after the submission of regular challan. Now you need to make sure that if you are paying arrear payment to that employee, you need to pay ESIC also on that arrear payment. And for that purpose, you need to file the supplementary challan, right? So earlier we did this regular monthly contribution. Now in case of arrears, if there is a case, you need to file the arrear challan. For the November month, I'm taking this. And from this drop down, you need to select the supplementary contribution and select the type of contribution again, the wages again, supplementary. Click on submit. Now you will be
So
moved on.
can't we adjust this amount in the next month's salary? I mean, this ESI calculation.
Yes, you have that option. You can do that also.
Okay.
Or else you can file the supplementary challan also.
So is there any limit, like how many times we can submit a challan in a month?
See, the regular challan you would be able to submit only once.
Okay.
Submit challan you would be able to file more than once also.
Okay.
Yeah. Supplementary, but for supplementary you need to do everything manually. You don't have the option to upload an Excel file, an Excel challan sheet, right?
Okay.
Because the cases of the earlier payments or the missed out payments are very rare in the monthly
Mhm.
payouts for every month for one employee or two employee. The case may be that you need to file the arrear challans, right? So in that case, you just need to select the type of challan, click submit, and then you will be moved to this page where you need to select the first row, enter the insurance number of the employee, IP number, the number of days for which the wages is paid, and the total wages. Now this time, let's take the example from the salary sheet itself, right? So for an example, this employee only, this employee got paid salary for 5 days only, and his actual working days was 10, right? So in that case, you need to make the payment of plus 5 days. So whatever payment you have made for that extra 5 days, you need to submit that ESIC challan also. So earlier you submitted for 5 days, now again you have paid. So for 5 days, his payable gross is 2825. So for supplementary, again, you need to enter 2825. Sorry, this 5 days, for 5 days you are paying the arrear challan, and for 5 days you have paid salary. The extra salary you have paid was 2825 that you need to mention. And in any case, the number of day, now for an example, if you have paid this employee for 30 days, and if you want to pay any other amount to this employee by this challan, right? Now taking this case that this employee earned overtime, right? And you have already filed the supplementary challan, but you missed to pay him on the overtime, right? In the regular challan, you have already mentioned that total working days was 30, and his calculation one was on his full salary. Now you want to contribute on the overtime, and you want to do it from the supplementary challan. Would you be able to do that? How will you
Mm.
convert that overtime amount in days? Because here we don't have any option for the overtime payment. We can only pay it in number of days. So in case of the missed out overtime payment, arrear payment, right? If you have already paid for the maximum number of days for that particular month, you don't have the option to pay the supplementary challan. In that case, you need to wait till next month, and in the next month's regular challan, you would be able to pay those cases. But in case if the employee has worked for less than 30 days, and you are paying within that days only, he has worked for, like, the earlier case, he worked for 5 days, but his actual work day was 10. So now you are making the payment for the 5 days extra plus 5 days. So for that 5 days, you can generate the supplementary challan, the number of supplementary pay days, and the supplementary payment that is made to the employee, 2825, right? And select the reason. If the employee has left the company, you need to select the reason from the drop down. The same list of reason would be reflected over here. And if the employee has left, you need to select the last working day and submit. If there is only one case, if there is another case also, you need to click on add more. Once you click on add more, a new row will get generated. Then click on add more if there is other cases. So keep on adding the rows for the number of employees you want to submit the challan, but make sure the number of days and amount is mentioned, otherwise you'll not be able to add the other rows. All right, so that's how we generate the supplementary challan. We can generate the supplementary challan for the lesser payment we have made to the employee, and if you want to make the adjustment, you have to pay the ESIC contribution on that adjustment payment also. All right, so this is the process of supplementary challan. So these were two types of challan that we generate on ESIC, the regular monthly challan and the supplementary challan. Supplementary, we only file in case we have already submitted the monthly regular challan, right? Any
And
questions?
it will be
Ah,
manually, na? We will add
that is
manually.
manually only. You just see here, go
Okay.
to file monthly contributions. Since we have already filed November month challan, if we can only file the supplementary. So I'm just selecting November month 2020 monthly to supplementary contribution. Again, I'll select supplementary from this drop down and click on submit. Once I click on submit, it moves to this page,
Okay.
right? And here you need to add the details manually one by one for all those employees. There's no option to upload the Excel file for this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we are done with filing monthly challan, generating challan, then modify challan. Till the time you have not made the payment, you can modify the challan. If there is any changes that you are willing to make, you would be able to do those modification from that challan. Since we have made the payment for all these challans, we don't have the option to modify any. But if there is any unpaid challan, you would be able to modify that. Then view contribution history. First thing was to take the printout of this. Like I told you, that last page that we have received. This is the ESIC challan. This is the first thing that you need to take a printout of. And the second thing that you need to take the printout of is of the contribution history. Here, view contribution history, you need to go. That shows the employee and employer's contribution in that month. So you need to select the month and year and click on view. This is the window of contribution history. If you see here for this employee, the number of days is 0, wages is 0, and here reason is showing as left service because I have updated reason code 2. Right, till the time it is not 0, you would not be able to mark an employee exit. And here the number of days, total monthly wages, and IP contribution is showing, and employer's contribution will reflect over here. So you need to make sure that you are taking a printout of this page also every month. With the challan file in ESIC, we need to keep these two files in the HR department for the inspection purpose. Whenever any inspector from ESIC comes, they ask for these two things. First is the challan, second is the contribution history. So always make sure that you are downloading this and keeping it in your HR department for the inspection. Then let's see the other important thing in it. All right. So in case, Acha, these are other things that we'll understand in the end. The next thing we'll move to is the employee section, right? Employee registration is the most important thing over here. Whenever any employee joins, you need to register that employee in ESIC, right? And there are two options for the registration. First, if you see, enroll employee with previously allotted ESIC number. Now, this option for those employee who was earlier working with your company only, they left and they again joined your company only. So it means that earlier also the ESIC number has been allotted by your company itself. So for those cases, you need to just select this select section, and it will show you the list of all those employees. Select that and insert. Once you click on insert, it will again try to register the employee, but we don't want this because this is not required usually. New registration we do from this option, register or enroll new employees. Click on this and you will be moved to this page. So now for ESIC, without providing the mobile number of employee, you would not be able to register. Even you will not be able to move to the next page of registration, right? So here, once you come to this page, it will ask you two options. First, was the employee ever allotted a ESIC number? So here we have two options, yes or no. If the employee was allotted an ESIC number, you need to select yes. If he was never registered in ESIC, you need to select on no, right? And once you select on no, it just asks the mobile number and validate the number and move to the next process. So let's add my number, right? So once I click no that I'm never registered in ESIC, I entered the number of the employee and click on validate mobile number. That's it. And then click on continue. Once you click on continue, it will move you to the registration page from where you can register an employee by filling in all the details of the employee. It's taking time. Okay, so this is the page where we'll be moved. And here we need to furnish all the information for that employee, like with this asterisk wherever it is, for the name, date of birth, marital status, father's name, gender of the employee, address. All these information are mandatory to update. Otherwise, you'll not be able to register the employee. We need to mention the disability of the employee, whether the employee is disabled or not. If the employee is disabled, you need to select yes. And if the employee is disabled, you need to upload his disability certificate, which is issued to the employee, specifying the percentage of disability of that employee. Why it is required? Because on the basis of this, the employer will get the benefit that the contribution of employer for the initial 3 years for this specific employee who is disabled will go from the central government, right? If the employee is not disabled, he is completely fit and fine, you need to select the option no, right? And then name of the employee, father's name of the employee. In case if it is a married woman, you need to select husband and husband's name, date of birth of the employee, marital status. Then you need to select gender of the employee, and always make sure that whenever you are entering name and gender, you need to be very sure you don't do mistakes over here, because all the other information in the ESIC portals can be edited by ourselves only the name and gender you would not be able to edit from the ESIC portal. So whenever you are entering these information, be very cautious, right? So enter date of birth, marital status, gender, select the gender of the employee and address of the employee. You need to enter the address. There are two type of address we need to mention: present and permanent. You need to enter. If
Mm.
the present and permanent both are same, select this option and the above information will be copied over here in this permanent also, right? And then this is the important sector where you need to update the information. Here we are allotting a dispensary for the employee, right? Whenever an employee joins your company, you are the one, the employer is the one who allots the ESIC dispensary for that employee. And how do we allot the dispensary for the employee? Now that for dispensary also there are two options. First is for the IP, second is for the family members, right? For those cases where the IP is working in some other state and the family is living in some other state, right? Both are eligible for the medical benefits. So in that case, we need to specify a different dispensary for the family members and a different dispensary for the IPs also. So here from this section, what we'll do, we will first select the state of the employee where the employee is been posted. So considering Delhi, district you need to select from the drop down, right? Let's take New Delhi. And here, this is the dispensary list. On the basis of state and district, it will show you the dispensaries which are available in that district. Now, depending upon the employee's address, which is the nearest dispensary for the employee, you need to select that, right? So you need to select the dispensary. Once you select the dispensary, it will reflect the address of the dispensary in this section over here, right? And this dispensary will be allotted to that employee. Same thing you will do for the family members also. You need to select the state. For an example, the family of the employee is living in Haryana, right? Select the state as in Ambala, okay, Bhiwani. And for Bhiwani, if there is any dispensary, so these are the 4 dispensaries which are there in Bhiwani. You need to select the nearest one for the family members, and that's it. You have allotted dispensary for the employee also and for his family members as well, right? The next thing and very important thing is the date of appointment. Once you have allotted dispensary, you updated the employee's information, you have updated the permanent and present address of the employee. The next thing is to update the date of joining of the employee. And date of joining, now see what happens. So today is 19th of December. And if I select anything more than 11 days for the date of registration. So for an example, if I'm taking 2nd of December. So now the difference of date of registration and date of joining is more than 11 days, more than 10 days. So here I'm getting a prompt from ESIC. You have not compiled with the provision of regulation 10B. Read with the regulation 11 and 12 of the employee state insurance regulation 1950 regarding registration of employee within 10 days of the date of appointment. Therefore, the date of appointment of this employee will be subject to confirmation by the concerned RO or SRO, means regional office or sub-regional office, after due verification of relevant documents. Until then, the date of registration shall be deemed as the date of appointment. please submit the relevant documents to the designated RO within 15 days of the prescribed format. Please also take note that the case of failure to do the needful, the date of registration will be treated as the date of appointment for all purposes. Got it? So in case of delay in registration of more than 10 days, you'll not be able to register the employee instantly with the exact date of joining of the employee. Right? In that case, if I select that, I just take I agree. So now it is showing as 2nd December 2020. So I would be able to register the employee with this date of joining, the exact date of joining of the employee, even after 10 days. But in that case, I need to submit the required documents to the regional office or the sub-regional office, right? Within 15 days of this registration. If I fail to do so, if I fail to submit the documents, or even if I submit the documents to the regional office or sub-regional office, and they are not satisfied with the information, they are not satisfied with the documents, then in that case they will reject this date of appointment, and the date of registration, which is 19/12/2020, would be considered as the date of joining for this employee now and onwards. All right. So this is a very important thing. Always make sure that whenever any employee joins your organization, either try to register that employee within that day only, the same day itself, or within the 10 days. Don't make it 11th day, or else you will be in a lot of trouble. You need to visit the ESIC offices, you need to have to write a lot of mails and etc. You need to prepare a lot of document for the inspection. So that is quite hectic process. To avoid that, do it within the time itself, right? So once you have entered date of joining, the next thing you need to do is to add the nominee details, right? Click here and enter the nominee detail of the employee, name of the nominee, relation of that nominee with the IP, now IP, where any relation, right? So for an example, I'm taking the dependent father, and address of the nominee, then district, state, and mobile number. Click on save. That's it. You have updated the nominee detail. Next thing is the family particulars, which is not mandatory to provide at the time of registration itself. So you can skip that part at the time of registration, right? But if you want to enter, you can do it. Just click here and enter the particulars of family, name of the member, date of birth, relationship with the IP, whether the family member is living with the IP or not. If not living with the IP, select the state and the exact district or location of that state. All right. So that's how you add the family members of that employee. And the next thing here again, if you see, now the bank details also became mandatory at the time of registration with this red asterisk, right? So to update the bank details, click here and always make sure that you have the cancelled check of that employee, or if the employee does not have a checkbook, you have the passbook of that employee, and that passbook and check needs to be attested by your employer, the authorized signatory of your company, with the signature and the stamp. And that file, that check scan should be below 200 kbs, right? If it is more than 200 kbs, you would not be able to register, upload that file in the ESIC. So for an example, if I take some IFSC code, IC. Okay. So to update the bank account number, you need to first enter the IFSC code of the bank for which you want to register the bank of the employee. Let me take some examples, some file. Just a moment. Let me stop the screen. See, that's how a cancelled bank check should look, right? It should be cancelled. It should be a scan copy, and it needs to be attested by your employer. If it is not attested, it will not be accepted. Even though if you'll upload it, you'll get the error after some days. So it needs to be attested by the employer. And for the registration of this bank account, we need to enter the detail over here. You need to update the IFSC code. Let's take this IFSC code HDFC. एक भी 3 4 044 such. Right. So once you enter the IFSC code and click on search, you will be moved to this window where you need to again enter the account number of the employee. Then MICR code is not required. Then you have to upload this file, the scan copy of the cancelled check over here. And this should be up to 2 KB in the size. If it is more than 2 KB, you would not be able to upload the cancelled check or the passbook of the employee. So you need to upload the cancelled check and passbook of the employee. Select the account type, whether it is savings, current, or others, and click on submit. And your this bank account detail of the employee will get updated over here for that specific employee. And once you have updated the bank account detail, click on this declaration and click on submit. Once you click on submit, this employee will get registered in ESIC, and the next page where you will be redirected will look like this. Right. So once you click on this for the registration of employee, after updating all the details, you will be moved to this window, right? After the registration, then this window will reflect all that information of the employee, and it will reflect the IP number also. Here that you have generated the IP number. If the employee is new, you need to copy the IP number and save it wherever you want. So that's how we register an employee in the ESIC. The next thing is the detail modification. That's how we register, and that's how we generate the IP number for an employee. And this is the file also that we need to take printout, and we need to issue with the employee, with the family photograph of the employee. And with this file itself, the employee can take all the medical benefit, medical condition, consultation from the ESIC hospital. So this is the medical card also, right? Now the next thing is that once you register an employee in ESIC, the next question comes up is if there is any error in his detail, or at the time of registration you have not updated few of details, like you have not added the family members of the employee, and you want to do those modification, or the bank detail that the employee wants to change, or the mobile number that the employee wants to change, how will you do all those modifications? So for that purpose, you need to go at this section, update particulars of the insured person. Click on this. You will be moved to this window. You have all those options. You can search the employee by his IP number, by his name, or if you click on search, it will show you the list of all employees registered in this unit. Select the employee name, whomsoever is the employee, click on edit, and this would be the window where you will be redirected. Now these are the options that you have to edit. First is the name or the dispensary details of the employee. Here you would have the option to edit the details of the employee. Like I said, name and the gender you would not be able to change for any employee. Rest every information you will be able to update. So from this section you can update the dispensary details of IP and his family member both, right? Second option we have is the personal details. Click on this, and from here you would be able to update the date of birth, father's name, marital status, gender you would not be able to change, right? So these information you would be able to change, but after every modification you need to click this declaration and click on update. Third is the address. If you want to change the address of the employee, you need to select that, and you have the option to change the current and the permanent address both from this section. Next, if the employee wants to change his nomination, here you need to click on nominate details and update the nominee informations. The next is the family members. At the time of registration, you forgot to add the family members, or intentionally you left to add the family members. You can add it later on by this section. You need to, from here, you need to add the name, date of birth, relationship, and click on add. That family member will be added in this above section. And if employee wants to change his bank account details, again, you would be able to do that by this section. From here, you need to again click on the new IFSC number, click on search. All these details you would be able to update by uploading the cancel check or the passbook as well. So these are the options for the modification of the details of employee. Now, if like this mobile number registration and the account number update, these are the recent changes which are applicable from July itself. And now those companies where there are 100 or 200, 500,000 employees, for all those employees, I'm sure that there are multiple employees for which the mobile numbers and the account numbers are not updated. And the ESIC is also aware of that. And that's why ESIC have provided these three new options by which you can update the mobile number of those employees for which the mobile numbers are not there, for which the employees mobile number is not updated. So from this page, you'd be able to see those employees for which the mobile numbers are not updated. You can just click on the employee name and update the mobile number of those employees. I don't know why it's taking a lot of time. Right. And the another option the ESIC have recently launched in this month itself is the bulk upload of mobile and account number. So for all those employees for which the mobile is not there, you can just simply click on bulk upload and you'll get the option to upload the file. Right. Now from here, you can download the dummy Excel file in which you need to furnish the information for the bulk upload. Click here. Right. So this is the simple format for bulk IP upload, bulk mobile number. You just need to enter the IP number, IP name, and the mobile number of the employee that you want to upload. This is the option for bulk upload. Right. And the next option, this we have done for the bulk upload and the bulk bank account numbers. Again, download the sample file. Here, for bulk upload of the bank details, you need to enter the IP number, name of the IP, age, gender, account number, IFSC code, and the MICR. These are the information that you need to update. That's it. Don't save. So these are for the details related to the employee, right? And bulk upload bank account related document of insured person means from the above option, we did what? We uploaded the bank account information, IFSC code, account details. From here, you will have to upload the cancelled check of all those employees for which the bank account you have uploaded recently, right? From this section. Since I have already updated the bank account details of all employees, I don't have any records over here. Then the e-Pehchan card, like I've told you, this is the card by which the employee takes the medical consultation, medical benefits from the ESIC. And how does that card look like? This would be the list of all employees, and you will have option of this view counterfoil. Click on this, and this is this medical card. You just simply take the printout of this card. That's how this card actually looks like. Right? This is the ESIC card. You just need to take the printout of this page, right? And ask the employee to affix his family photograph with himself, and then the employee or the IP needs to attest. They need to sign over here. Employer attest this document with this a signature and the stamp of the company, and that can be used as a e-Pehchan card for the medical benefits from ESIC. Next, we have we have the list of employee. If you want to check, this is simple. So these are the most of the things for employee. Now the last thing we'll do from the employer section here, two three things that we have to do on regular basis. First, if your company is a factory and you need to enter the details of employee, you need to enter the IP name, click on submit. A new form will get appeared in your screen in which you need to furnish the details related to that accident. Let me show what details you need to furnish in this section.
Sir, sir,
Yes, please.
hello. Sir, I have a question that we need to submit the TIC form to the
आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ
local
रही है,
office. Please hold on.
अतुल. हाँ
Hello.
हाँ अतुल बताओ.
Yes, sir. Hello.
हाँ अभी आ रही है, बताइए.
Sir, actually, I have a question that we need to
Yes Atul,
submit
you're
a
audible,
TIC.
please tell.
So we need to submit the TIC form to the local officer.
No, you don't need to submit it to the local office. You just need to issue it to the employee.
Okay. So, sir,
Employee will only
what is
take
the process? What
this
is
printout of this page only.
okay? And
And
what
they
is the
can get the
process of
medical benefits.
facility? But this is valid for 6 months, sir, or the whole life?
नहीं मैं बता दूं. See, initially we need to issue this file. Then ESIC does what? If you see
Yeah.
here, they give a prompt also. So when we initially issue this file to ESIC mainly do the mapping of the biometrics of the employee, like Aadhaar.
Okay.
Not only valid for the say 6 months or 3 months. The same file can be used,
Okay.
but if
So
the
earlier,
mapping is not done, this will not be valid for the next after 3 months or 6 months. The exact that validation of 3 months that you are talking about, that is about the UHID. If the Aadhaar is not verified of the employee,
okay.
but now I think this UHID thing is not valid. Earlier, at the time of
Okay.
registration only, we had to register, we had to update the Aadhaar number of the employee. But now this
Okay.
Aadhaar is
So,
not mandatory in ESIC.
okay. Sir, earlier we sometime we received a smart card from ESIC. So that process is
Smart card, that yellow card you are talking about,
yeah.
that is not in
How
use in since last 4 years.
4 years?
That
Okay,
has
sir.
become void. Nowadays, this is the only card that is
Okay.
used for the medical consultation. Where that go? This is the only
Okay,
thing
sir.
that we need to take for the medical benefits. The employer simply need to take a printout and issue it to the employee. Ask them to attach the photograph over here with family. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Right? That yellow card is not valid nowadays.
Okay, sir. Done, sir.
All right. So where we were? Huh. Okay. So accident report we were talking about, and let me just close these multiple files. This is the accident report form, right? All that information which is mentioned over here, these all information we need to file online. From that option, you just need to enter the IP number and you will be moved to the page where you need to furnish all this information, which is related to the accident of that employee, like the nature of industry, name and address of the IP, insurance, sex of the IP, occupation, age of the IP, and the department in which the IP was working, his regular shift hours, exact place of accident, date and hour of accident, hour at which work was started, location of injury, right hand, leg, or what exactly the location. You need to furnish all these information which is related to the accident of that IP, and you need to submit that. Only after the submission of that report, the IP may get any benefit from the ESIC, which is related to the accident. So this is a very important form, and you need to update that form within 24 hours of the accident. And in case of fatal accidents, you need to update that within 4 hours of the accident. 326. Right, so that was the accident form 12. Then in case if your company needs to modify any details, and for an example, the company relocated to some other location, so in that case they need to do the changes in their ESI and PF registrations as well. So that information can be updated from this section, update employer details, right? And from here click on search, and you will have these categories to update: name of the factory and establishment, complete postal address of a factory and establishment, constitution of ownership, name, address of the present proprietor, managing directors, managing partners, secretary, etc., date of the bank details of the company, then the BO or ID of the company, branch office or the inspection division. The BO and ID is branch office and the inspection division. So any of these options that you want to update, click on that, and you just need to update that specific information and click on submit by uploading the relevant documents which is required for that update. In case if you are changing any of the address, so you need to update the valid address proof for that, like the rent agreements or the government issued bill, like for the electricity bill on which the company's name is there. You need to upload those documents and click on submit. That change will be processed, right? Recently we have initiated a change which is not yet done, because nowadays in PF and ESI, so many of the requests like the change in address on the modification of the details are in pending because of the maximum number of those requests, right? So since last 2 3 months, this is still under process, and it will take more time, I'm sure. Right, so any details related to the employer information you can update from this section. Any of the subunit registration, if your company has have registered a new branch office and you want to register that branch with ESIC, you need to click on create subunit registration, and from here you yourself only can register that branch with ESIC and can generate a subcode by which you can separately log in a new portal, can register the employees of that specific branch, and can make the ESIC challan payment for that specific branch with a separate login. So for that purpose, you just need to select type of office for which the subcode is required. Select whether it is a registered office, head office, branch office, sales office, administrative office, or others. Right? If you select others, you are required to select the type of that other category. For that, I think it gives a manual filling form for the other section, which is not showing right now. So you just need to select the type. I'm selecting the branch office and the region under which the subunit is located. So from this list, you need to select the regional office under which your branch is coming in, right? And if I am not able to find the reason under this list, it means that branch is in a non-implemented area where there is no regional office or sub-regional office of ESIC. If that location is not there in this list, so that's how we come to know whether the branch is under the ESIC or not, right? So you just need to select the regional office for that specific branch, and then does an office exist in that area where the subunit is being requested, whether you already have an operating office in that area. You need to select yes or no and then click on Next, once you click on next, you again need to furnish the details like how many employees are there in that branch, how many employees are eligible for ESIC, like number of employees who are drawing wages less than or equals to rupees 21,000, then number of employees who are getting wages more than rupees 21,000. These kind of details you need to furnish over there. Mention the name of person who would be liable for the compliance management for that specific branch. You need to update the contact information of that person as well, like the address, mobile number, email IDs. Click on submit. Once you click on submit, you will get an email on that provided email ID with the subunit code, right? Means this branch will get registered with ESIC. This is the main code by which the company is mainly registered. And same like this, you will receive a code on email with with a document in which this code will be mentioned, and a temporary password will be mentioned over there, right? So that's how we register a subcode. Once you click on next, you'll be moved to this window where you need to update these information like the date of start of the new subunit, location for which the subcode is required, number of employees drawing wages up to rupees 21,000 per month, those who are drawing more than rupees 21,000 per month, nature of work, right? Administrating, marketing, sales, or others. Then the name of the official who would be responsible for the compliance for that specific branch, address of that official, designation state where he's living, mobile number, and email ID. Then you need to select the inspection division and the a branch office for that ESIC. Branch office is the place by which all this compliances is being made for that specific branch, and inspection division is the location by which the inspection is done for that specific branch. So that's how we register the ESIC subunit in the ESIC, right? The accident report we have already discussed. Wage contributory record is required in case of the disablement benefit. If any employee is claiming disablement benefit, in that case the ESIC asks for the wage contributory record. So earlier we used to submit the wage contributory record in offline mode, but nowadays it is not required in offline mode. Once you enter the IP number who have requested for the claim of that benefit, you just need to enter the IP number, click on submit. You will be moved if that person has already claimed. So you will be seen the name of the IP, and for which you will get the option to update the contributory record. You just need to select, click on the button, and that record will be sent to ESIC. This is for the confirmation by the employer and only. Then
Okay,
for
sir.
the
I have a question.
please.
Sir, I have a doubt that if we have one main registration number and five sub registration number,
Ha.
so at the time of challan
Hmm,
payment, we
hmm.
need to create one challan, or we need to create different five subunit
Different
challan.
five challan. Like I said, each unit is separate for the ESIC. The
Okay.
For the head office, there is a different branch office. For all the other
Okay.
units, there are other branch offices, right? Compliances process is also different for each branch. But being the head office, like if it is the master login by which all those subunits are generated, I will get this
Okay.
option
Okay.
here, the consolidated monthly challan. Here, by this option I would be able to file challan for all those multiple locations, also all those subunits also, but again separately. Again I will have to download the employee list for all those branches and then upload the data of all those employees, and then I would be able to file the contribution for all those branches by this login itself. Otherwise, we have the option to simply log in each of the subunit and make the separate challan for each login. If you want to do a consolidated challan contribution, you will be able to do it from this option, right? Since we
Okay.
have only one branch, we don't have this option of the consolidated. But let me just show you the help file for that, the consolidated monthly challan. Okay, just a moment.
Because if any employer is present entire the India,
Hmm.
so maybe
Hmm.
there is a possibility
Hmm.
that there are 100 plus subunits or
Yes, I have done that. I have done that. I have done that earlier. I was doing this ESIC thing for 23 branches, means 23 different locations. I used to do it.
Okay.
So for that purpose, like I said, you have both option. You can do it individually by logging into each branch portal, or you can do a consolidated contribution by this option. See, this is the help file. You need to click on this
Okay.
file, consolidated monthly contribution. Once you click on that, you will be moved to this window where you need to select the month and click on submit. Once you click on submit, you will be moved to this window where it will show you the list of all subunits, right?
Okay.
Here, these are the list of all subunits which are generated from this main login, and you will have the list of IPs of all these subunits, the list of all these registered employees of those subunits. So now here you have the option to download. Now from here, you need to select the subunits for which you want to you want to submit the challan. So you can
Okay.
select multiple, you can select all, or you can select one as well. So once you click on submit,
Okay.
the the list of IPs will get generated. You need to click on sample MC data. This list of IPs will get downloaded. Then again, separately, you need to prepare information of all those IPs separately in one single file. You need to copy the number, the name and IP details, and prepare one single file and upload that information in this page here.
Great,
Once
sir.
you click on upload Excel, here you will upload the information of all those employee for all those branches in one single file. Click on upload, and then the next process is same. Just you will be redirected to the payment page, and
And we
from
need
where
to
you'll have to make the
pay
payment.
only one payment,
Take
sir.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
but the challan will get generated for each. Here, if you
Okay.
see, you'll get a payment history, right, where you can find out the employer code and the contribution for that specific branch. And by this
Okay.
only, you would be able to download the challan also for each branches, right?
Okay. Right, sir.
Ha. So once you click on submit, list of acha, these are the things which we have already done. Here you'll be moved to this window, pay online, and then you need to make the payment.
Okay. Done, sir.
Acha, it has multiple options.
And so my another question is, what documents are required for first time registration in ESIC? Hello. 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 Okay. Okay.
Sorry guys, I got disconnected. Okay, so we were here.
Hello.
Any query on this? Yeah, please ask Atul.
Sir, my another question is, what
Hmm.
documents are required for first time in registration in ESIC?
Documents are simple. See, mainly we need to furnish the details related to the employer. Like if it is a proprietor, you need to submit the company registration and the proprietor's detail. And we need to furnish the details related to the branch. Like you need to submit the address proof of that location, that specific establishment, and you need to basically the document related to that branch and the company owners. If it is a private limited firm or a partnership firm, uh, there is a requirement of the memorandum of association as well. partnership deed, these kind of documents that we need to upload. I'll share the list of documents for the registration of the main branch also in the course materials.
Okay,
Okay.
done, sir.
Hmm.
And sir, if any new joinee
Hmm.
forget his ESIC number,
Hmm.
and then what should we do as an employer, sir, if he join in our organization? So we need to create his new ESIC number, or is there any option so that I can search his last ESIC number?
See, only his previous employer can tell his last IP number if the
Okay,
employee itself has forgot,
okay,
right? There's no other way that you can map like PF if we do it, because it is already linked with the Aadhaar. So in PF it is easy to find out the UN, but in ESIC it is not possible, right? But
okay,
that is why it becomes the employer's responsibility to take the declaration, right? So we ask the employee to fill the form 1, the employee registration form, employee's declaration form, this form, employee
okay,
form 1. If the employee is not aware of his ESIC number, so in that
okay,
case, he will leave this blank, and you have that declaration that employee itself has not provided. But if the employee is sure that he was registered in ESIC in his previous company, but he just forgot, that he can ask his previous employer for that same. Otherwise, the another option is that he can visit his branch office, right? His previous
okay,
company's branch office, and from there he can take his IP number if the employer is not providing. So that option is there.
okay, sir. And so, Form 12 need to submit the ESIC local office or sub-regional office, or we need to submit
Online only.
online?
Online only.
Online only. Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
But there is another accident report book that we need to maintain with ourselves in our
Okay,
department in offline mode.
okay, sir.
That is form 10. Need form 12. That is somewhere around accident book that we need to maintain in the HR department just for the inspection purpose.
Okay, sir.
Accident report we need to furnish online only, because this is a detailed report which gives us all information related to the accident of that employee.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And this is the declaration form which we should ask the employee at the time of joining. Whenever he is joining the company, we should ask them to fill this declaration form, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, so most of the things we have done in ESIC. mm, okay, this is the reply for the abstention verification. Now, by this only the employer certifies that if any employee remains absent because of sickness or any other reason for which he can claim the ESIC benefit, by this mode, the employer certifies that the employer was actually absent during this period and he was not paid wages for that period, right? By just inserting the IP number, he'll get the option to certify that. And once the employer certifies from their end, the employee gets the benefit. If the employer certifies that the during that absent period, the payment is made by employer, in that case, ESIC will not give the benefit to that employee, right? So this is mainly for the cash benefits that the ESIC is giving to their employees. Okay. Okay. Now, from this cash benefit point of view, the question coming up in my mind is that for maternity benefits, what is the eligibility criteria? Which all women employees are eligible for maternity benefit? Atul?
26 weeks, sir.
I think that is the benefit. What is the eligibility criteria? How in ESIC?
She has completed so 78 days in contribution period, in last contribution period.
Okay, let me just move to this file. Here. Eligibility payment of contribution for at least 70 days in one or two consecutive contribution
Se-
periods, right? Means in a year, the
Yes, sir.
woman employee must have contributed for at least 70 days. And maternity benefit is a cash benefit, right?
Yes, sir.
So if it is 70 days contribution, so 70 days means 30 days, let's take it as 3 months. In three
Yes,
months,
sir.
a woman can complete 70 days, right?
Yes, sir.
So if a woman employee joins and after joining, after 4 months, the woman employee is claiming for maternity benefit, and she have also contributed for 70 days. in that period,
Okay.
would that women employee be eligible for ESIC, for this maternity benefit? Will the ESIC give this benefit to that employee?
No, no, sir.
Why?
Because you have mentioned that the payment of contribution for at least 70 days in one or two consecutive
Consecutive
period.
contribution.
So completed the previous contribution. Maybe, sir. There is a possibility. I understand.
See, so here by this point, it is saying that the woman employee must have contributed for at least 70 days in one or two consecutive contribution period. Means even in the 6 month, if she has contributed for 70 days, she is
Yes, sir.
eligible. Or by combining two contribution period, if she has contributed for 70 days, she is eligible. But what I'm asking that she joined, she has worked for 4 months, and she have contributed for 70 days. Is she eligible now?
Uh, but the mm,
Now let's come to this point. What I wanted to say. This is the contribution period. This is the
yes, sir.
benefit period, right?
Right.
And for an example, if the women employee joins in this contribution period, for an example, she joins in April,
Yes, sir.
and April, May, June, July. In the month of July, she completes 4 months and she have contributed for 70 days. Is she eligible for ESIC in the month of
October,
August?
sir.
August. Let's talk about August.
Okay.
Is she eligible? From
Yes, sir.
April, 4 months is October, May,
Yes,
June,
sir.
July, August. August.
See,
Yeah.
I guess
September
no,
or
No.
September.
because
Why no?
benefit period is in the January, no?
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was willing to ask. That
Okay.
even though the women employee has contributed for 70 days in that contribution period, one contribution or two contribution period, the benefit period only starts after 9 months of joining of that employee, right? If you count January from the month of April, how
Mm-hmm.
many months it is? 9 months.
9 months.
So there is a wait period of 9 months for the cash benefit, not only the maternity benefit I'm talking about, any kind of cash benefit in
Benefit
ESIC, there is a wait period of 6 months. Sorry, nine
Okay,
months.
sir.
Even
9 months.
though if you take this, any woman, any employee who joins in this period also, to claim any of the cash benefit, there is a wait period of again 9 months. From the month of March, if you count July, it would be 9 months, right? So for maternity, I wanted to take this point that it is mentioned as for not only maternity, for any of the cash benefit, whether it is sickness, extended, or anything, even though they have contributed for that much period, even for the enhanced sickness benefit, it is written as 78 days. For extended, it is written as 156 days. And for this normal sickness benefit, it was 70 days, 78 days again, right? So all these benefit will start only after 9 months, right? Before that, they cannot claim this benefit. So this is the most important thing in the ESIC cash benefits. Okay. Any question till
Yes, sir.
now? Please let me know, guys.
Yes, I have few queries.
Please ask.
Okay, so first is like you said that when we are mentioning our details, filling our
Hmm,
details for
hmm,
ESI portal, so there is a IP number, right?
hmm.
So IP, the UN number is same for every employment, every new employment that will be
Huh,
remain same, right?
right.
And so for ESIC in ESIC also IP number will remain same for
Yes.
entire. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
See, when I logged in, if you see here, what the prompt we got, ESIC asked multiple times
Mm-hmm.
that always make sure that you are taking his previous IP number whenever you are registering any employee, if they have,
Okay,
right?
okay,
Because like UN number, IP number is also unique,
okay,
right? But like UN number, duplication is IP is possible. In UN, you cannot generate a duplicate UN number for any employee, but for IP, you can generate multiple IP numbers for any IP, even though it is unique, right? So that's why we are the one who have to make sure that we are not generating a new IP for an employee who already have an IP number. So if you see, when I close this, what I'm getting a prompt here. IP number once given is valid for the lifetime of the employee. He need not register himself again, even if he changes location, or employment, it is a unique number. So the IP number once get generated is valid for entire life of the employee,
Okay,
right?
but let's suppose if there is some duplicacy
Hmm.
case. So
Hmm.
let's suppose I'll mention my name, I'll mention my date of birth also.
Hmm.
So it will not show some error that this person is already
No,
insured.
no, no.
Okay, and why
Since
so?
it's not verifying data from anywhere. In
Okay.
PF, what does PF portal and the Aadhaar portal both are clubbed, both are combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any information which is once linked with any Aadhaar related to the UN number, if you
Mm-hmm.
try to generate any other, it will give you the error,
Okay.
because in PF, registration of a new IP is not possible without providing the Aadhaar number,
Aadhaar.
right? So
Right.
it verifies the data from Aadhaar. But in case of ESIC, it is not the case. Like in us ESIC, we
Mm-hmm.
we don't get the option to provide the Aadhaar details since
Aadhaar
it is not
details.
linked with Aadhaar. Earlier it was, but they have revoked that Aadhaar verification at the time of registration of the employee. So
Okay.
now in ESIC, it only depends on the employee's declaration to verify whether they were earlier registered in ESIC or not. And that's why I always say that whenever a new employee joins in your organization, ask them to fill this declaration form where they provide their previous insurance number and the employer's code.
Okay.
Okay. And from this point, we get to know their previous IP numbers. And this is
Okay.
a proof also for us that we already asked them to provide
Mm.
their IP number. They intentionally did not provide. So even though if they do not provide you, but he was registered, it would not be your fault if they declare in this document.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, please.
if the employee is not eligible for a maternity benefit, if the
Ah.
contribution period is less than 78 days,
Hmm.
then it's employer responsibility to pay the female employee.
No. In case where the female employee is registered in ESIC, then in that case, for maternity benefit, employer is not responsible. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Hmm.
So my next query is
Hmm.
when you have mentioned there, like if there is some disability issue, I mean case in the organization,
Hmm.
right? While filling the detail, while enrolling a
Registering the
new,
new IP.
yeah,
Huh? Let's go to
registering a
that
new
page.
person. So like you said that for the 3 years, initial 3 years, the contribution will be like
Paid by
contributed
central
from the
government.
central government. So
Right.
it is for both the like employee contribution or employer
Employer.
both,
Employer only.
only employer contribution.
It is an incentive for employer only, just to promote the employability of disabled peoples. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So only the employer contribution will be paid by the government.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And
Okay.
here the eligibility limit of employees also up to 25,000. Right.
So I think earlier it was 15,000.
No, no, no. Have you attended our last session of ESIC?
Yeah, I
You did.
have.
So did you miss this slide?
Which one?
Any of the normal person without any disability eligibility, acha, disability is 21,000, and for the disabled person with any kind of disability, the
Okay.
eligibility for the same is 25,000. So any,
Dheeraj, your screen is not visible.
oh, just a moment, let me just share again. Is it visible now?
No. Yeah,
See,
now.
now it is
Now.
visible.
Yeah.
So here, for the normal employees without any disability, the eligibility limit is 21,000. And employees with any kind of disability, the eligibility limit is 25,000, right? Just to promote the employability. And also the central government contributes for the employer side. Employer do not need to contribute for them. Okay, this is
Okay.
the eligibility criteria for them.
So this is something different which I'm asking. Actually,
Hmm.
I have like I've seen somewhere like there is some ceiling limit also for this ESI which was earlier 15,000 and it
How
got
this
increased.
is the no, earlier it was 15,000.
Acha.
From
Okay.
from
Okay. Okay.
1st January 2017, now it is 21,000.
Okay.
Okay, earlier it was 15,000. Before 1st January 2017, it's what 15,000.
Acha. Okay. Okay. There might be some confusion then.
Ha, ha.
Okay, okay, fine.
In PF again, this limit is 15,000
15,000, right,
in
right.
PF.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are done for today's session. Any question related to anything in today's session, please let me know, guys. Anything, Anil sir, that you would like to add?
No, you have covered everything.
All right.
So what else left for, I mean, this module? Anything else?
Yes, yes, we have three more acts that need to be covered, and that we will cover in tomorrow's session only. Those are the small acts: payment of bonus act, payment
Okay.
of gratuity act, and maternity benefit act. These three acts we are going to cover in tomorrow's session. Then we will complete this module two of the module one of statutory and legal compliances. From next weekend onwards, we'll start module two, that is compensation and benefits.
I think we have missed some part of that recruitment module.
Hmm.
Uh, because if you remember, like, there was some session going on, and
Huh.
between some